Hello and welcome to Mente de Madre Leona. I'm your host, Christina. It's so good to be with you today. I haven't been on here in a little while because we just got wrapped up with summer, and so all my children were home for the summer and they've gone back to school now and had a wonderful beginning to school and just awesome teachers and great new friends and old friends too, and we could not have asked for a better start to our school year. So with them going back, I'm starting to have more time to be able to put into different projects that I have going on. So I wanted to kind of give you some updates of what we're doing. I wanted to touch on something really quick. Last year, a little before this time last year, my husband and I had decided to start a supplement company, and we put a lot of time and money into doing that. And sadly, we are not going to be pursuing that anymore, or at least not at this point. We've copyrighted all of our information and slogan and our logo and everything. So in the future, we could always change our minds. But unfortunately, the supplier that we had worked with had completely lied to us and never had any of the products available that they were supposed to have. And sadly, even more, is that it's a local company. And so it's a difficult decision because I kept believing that every time they told me, oh, it'll be another 6 or 8 weeks, we can't get product. And now it's obvious that they're just not going to get product. They took our trust and our money and really took advantage of us. But we're just going to close that chapter, and hopefully at some point we can use the design because we love it so much in the name and work with someone else who is reputable and will do what they say that they will do. And this really wasn't probably the time to be pursuing something like that. As much as we love fitness, and doing supplements was such an exciting thing, and the things that we did try with them that they had as samples were so incredible. We were just beyond excited to be with this company, but everything has a time and a season, and that was just not meant to be for right now. So one thing I am going to begin doing is mentorships for women who are wanting to get into their health and wellness journey and need some help along the way. And I come from a perspective of having been pregnant numerous times and have had numerous miscarriages, and I know how difficult the path can be because with each child, it's a very different journey. And what you did with your first child, you can have such a different experience with the second, third, fourth, fifth. Each one varies so differently. And so I've learned throughout my journey so many things that didn't work that I found when I was so desperate to find any kind of help. And then I did find many things that did work, and I would love to be able to mentor women to be able to find their strength again, not only their physical strength, but their mental strength and their spiritual strength. So I've put a little link on my Instagram, my lioness_fitness_motivation, but I will build that out some more. I'm also going to switch over my blog website. I just began doing that yesterday. So that will be lionessfitnessmotivation.com, and I will start adding blogs to that and many of the things that I have found throughout my journey that have really helped me that I love to share with you all. And as always, I love to hear feedback. So if you ever want to get onto social media and share with me, I'd love to hear that. So 2 other things. We joined a new gym. We had been working out at a small gym close to home and then going to our favorite larger gym. But the gym that was close to us just didn't have the best vibe. For one thing, it was either freezing cold or burning hot. It was never comfortable. And it's more of a class environment. So either there was absolutely no one there or the place was completely packed. So as convenient as it just wasn't the best fit for us. They're doing a great job and really adding to our community. It's just not the place for us. We found another gym that is another local gym, and it's smaller, but it is an incredible gym. It's got such a good energy, great lighting, very, very comfortable temperatures, and just such a supportive group of people. Lots of bodybuilders there, and also a lot of senior citizens I notice in there, and that always to me is super inspiring to see them in there. And then also really, really young people as well. So I love seeing both ends of the scale in there, really just pushing to be their best and stay healthy. So the other thing that I have wanted to do is begin doing some CrossFit type of workouts here at home because of time, and also CrossFit it's really, really cool what they do, but it is exceptionally expensive, and so it's not something that I'm willing to commit to because I'm not a CrossFitter, and I already have 2 gym memberships, so I'm not trying to add a third one that costs so much money. So this morning we went and picked up a huge tractor tire that was so wonderfully given to me. So that, along with some of the other equipment that I have kept, exercise equipment, I'm going to start doing some of those workouts, and maybe I'll be able to talk my husband into putting up a bar in our barn so I can practice learning how to do man-ups. I have tried doing them and I have failed miserably, but I've never had a place where I've been able to actually practice those. Pull-ups, great, no problem in being able to practice those about anywhere, but if you don't have that very specific bar, and there is one at our larger gym, but it's generally being used, and it's not a very convenient place to be practicing because there's like weights right underneath of it. So if I were to fall, it could be quite catastrophic. So kind of spreading out our training into 3 different areas and keeping it mixed up and more interesting and keeping that really good energy. We had backed off of working out. It started out because my husband was sick, the kids got really sick, then I got really, really sick, all from that, stemming from the allergies, just turning into things like pneumonia. And then my husband pulled his hamstring while helping someone move some exercise equipment. And then I was moving some exercise equipment and hurt my foot so badly right after my husband was all healed up from his hamstring. And that was so painful. So I continued to work out slowly through all of that. And finally, I was able to not limp around the gym in shoes that were, quite big and definitely not meant to be used as far as training. So we are all healed up for the moment, and we are digging back into getting into the gym 4 to 5 times a week, if not more. And so I'm pretty excited about that. And then adding this CrossFit type exercise here at home, that will also be exciting because our kids absolutely love exercise. They're always loving to work out. They were extremely mad at me because I got rid of some of my exercise equipment that was just gathering dust because we generally go to the gym. And so they will really enjoy doing some of the CrossFit work. So another thing I wanted to tell you all about, as I have been going through this process of healing my body, strengthening my body from having children, and also just from not having it, just a total lack of knowledge is what I should say, of not knowing how beneficial muscle can be in our bodies. I've noticed more and more how my personality and my internal thought processes have grown and changed. And it seems as though there are times of rapid growth and change in my muscle structure or fat loss. And at the same time, there can be those changes that happen quite rapidly in my mind and in my spirit. So I had a couple of incidents in the last couple of weeks that really just almost God smacked me, because I was just like, wow, that is a huge shift from where I used to be, because I used to be such a people pleaser and I didn't want to instigate any kind of conflict, or if I did instigate any kind of conflict, it was just me screaming and being very, very irate, because I am Scotch Irish, so I can get hot-headed very, very quickly. So I've noticed that this confidence in having this muscle structure on the outside, it's like a deepening of my inner confidence as well, that I can trust myself to make better choices, and I can trust myself to push myself to the limit of working really, really hard, and to know when to stop, and to know when it's time to rest and to heal, and where it's best to spend my time. And learning to trust myself is just really, really important. And being able to be more calm because I have that inner confidence is also really, really important, and building on that and becoming more thoughtful of my words, my actions before I spring into them. It doesn't mean I'm always proud of myself or make the right choices, because I'm sure if you're a mom, you know that there are times when you become just completely overwhelmed and overstimulated, and everyone is wanting something from you, and it can be easy to just, be so exhausted that you kind of freak out. So I'll give you these couple of quick examples of things that happened to me, and I was really surprised by my reactions. A couple of weeks ago, I was volunteering, and I won't give too many specifics because I'm not trying to embarrass anyone in any of these situations. But I was volunteering, and I was doing exactly what I was asked to do, and then some, I thought. And as I was leaving, a lady very rudely started hollering at me and chasing me down as I was walking through these different rooms and corridors. Ma'am. And I thought, oh my gosh, something's really, really wrong. And I turned around, and she gave me the what for, and told me I was supposed to do all these other things. And I told her I was never informed of any of that. I mean, I have it in writing, the things that I had volunteered to do out of the kindness of my heart, that I truly wanted to be there. And I told her next time I'll certainly help with those things, but I was on my way out, and she demanded that I come back in and do those things. And at that moment, the old me would have done about anything to appease her and to just make her happy and go back in there and do the things that she wanted to do. And instead, I very calmly and matter-of-factly told her I was not, and everything had already been done that I was told I needed to do, and I turned around and I left. And I could tell she was just like, it was like daggers in the back of my head as I walked away out the door, but I never got shooken up. I never felt scared. I didn't feel like I'd, made my parents mad, that type of feeling that I used to get, this extreme anxiety when I would get into a situation like that. I would just rather please the person than to deal with becoming anxious by saying, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm standing up for myself. So I was very, very happy to see that change in my confidence levels and my ability to think and speak in that moment. And then a few days later, I was at a store, and they charged me wrong for a toy that my son had bought with some birthday money. So it was his money, and he was very excited about it. And I looked at the receipt, and I saw they had way overcharged him. And since it's his little boy money, we went back up to the counter, and he was very happy to do so. And the lady said, "Okay, you're all done." And I said, "You didn't give us the money back." And she said, "Oh no, I did." And the old me would have said, "Oh, okay," and just left, knowing that she was completely wrong, that she had never refunded the money, and not wanting to make a scene or make anyone else uncomfortable. I would have rather lost the money and just felt horrible, like I'd done something wrong. And instead, I stood there and I said, "No, you have a camera there. You can look and see. You did not give me the money. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong." And I wrote down my phone number and my name, and I told her, "If your drawer comes up short, you can call me and I will come back up here as many times as I go in that store." And the manager came right over and he told her, "You refund the money right now. No questions asked." And I reminded him, you can go look at those cameras and you can see that I never got the money. But if for some crazy reason I am totally wrong, which I knew I wasn't, then, again, here's my phone number and my name. And I calmly walked out, knowing I was in the right. I also had known exactly how much money I had in my wallet when I walked in there, how much change I'd gotten, and what bills I had specifically. And so I made sure in the parking lot, and for sure, she had not given me that money I had. So I didn't have double the money is what I'm saying. So I was, again, very proud of myself for making the decision to stand my ground in a calm and collected manner, not in a irate, screaming frenzy that would have just made my son uncomfortable. He never even realized what was happening. He was just happy to get his money back so he can spend it on something else along with his other toy that he bought. And also, it seemed to me obvious that there was something going on in that store, that possibly people were not being honest. And having been a manager of a store before, I know that goes on. And some people think they can slip money here and there into their pocket, especially during hard times, and no one will notice. And so I was really, really glad that I made that decision calmly and collectively, and had a lot of confidence in what I was saying, and didn't feel scared and anxious as I would have before. And the very last example, again, I don't want to give too many specifics, but I have been trying to clean out a lot of things out of our storage and out of our house that we no longer need because the kids have gotten quite a bit older, or things like a lot of exercise equipment and clothes and stuff that we just don't use that are totally great. Somebody else would love to have them. So I had someone come to purchase something, and we had a lot of mutual friends. I sell a lot of things to local people. And she didn't pay me correctly. She shorted me. And she looked right at the money, she counted it, and she looked right at me to see, like, if I was going to say anything. But there was something there, almost like this, like she didn't have any more to give me. And it was just enough of a vibe that I was just like, no, you know what? She needs this, and I don't. And I felt very comfortable in just letting it go and just letting it be, and not being upset about it, and not being mad at her, and just knowing that sometimes people are in a really hard place. And I certainly have been in many of those myself. So I know how that feels. I don't think it was particularly right what she did, but I'm glad that I, again, didn't make a scene and didn't make her feel bad when she was already in a place where she was not feeling her best. So I think it's interesting that the bodybuilding, the strength training, all of that transcends into our mind and our spirit. and how things cycle through so many times through our lives, and we can really begin to learn. Another thing that I have really been working on is focusing on positive thought processes over the last couple of weeks. And I have realized for the first time in my 40 years how much negative self-talk goes on in my head, or just negative talk, period, about what's going on in the day, sarcastic little remarks in my head about everything going on. And it takes away from the moments where I do have deep gratitude or deep love. And I realize that those negative thoughts are just so detrimental to my overall health in my life and my relationships, and being really intent on changing that part of me and focusing on the positive thought process. It's a really exciting path to be going down. It was definitely something that I started over a year and a half ago with a beautiful book that one of my girlfriends had sent to me, and really focusing on gratitude and all of the beauty that we have in our lives, and focusing on the things that we want to happen. But I did not realize, I really truly did not realize all the negative thoughts I had. And I could sit here and say, well, that's okay, because, you've been through so much. You've lost these babies, and you had all these troubles and these bad guys in your life, and, you lost a business, and, so you're okay, to justify all of the negative thoughts. And it has been very freeing to just say, I am letting go, and repeatedly allowing myself to let go. And it does take intention. It 100% takes intention, and not getting mad at myself when I have a negative thought, but seeing it for what it is and saying, okay, well, where does that lead me? Does that lead me to somewhere I want to go or somewhere I don't want to go? And generally, those negative thoughts, go on a tumbling trail of negativity and, lead me into really negative prior memories that bring up a lot of negative emotion. And the next thing I feel is not good for the rest of the day. So I think that learning all of these things is so important to be able to share them with my children, in hopes that they have such a better thought process and a better physical process in their lives, so that they have a jump start that I didn't have. But I'm happy to be starting it at this age anyway. So I will keep you all posted as both the muscle gains are continuing and the gains, I would say, on the spirit and the mind continue. So a lot of the same processes going on. So I will be digging back into the YouTube and the Instagram, and also working on getting the new website up, more blogs and more podcasts with the new amount of time that I have from the kiddos being in school. But again, if you are interested in doing some mentorship with me, feel free to give me a shout on my Instagram. Again, it's lioness_fitness_motivation. I hope you all have a really, really wonderful day wherever you are, and I look forward to speaking to you again soon.